Hey guys, it's Sam here, and today I'm going to be talking about something that I've been wanting to talk to you guys about for a long time, and that is Turso. But not just Turso, Turso plus Pocketbase. So, with the latest update that's happened to Pocketbase, we're now able to use Turso in conjunction with Pocketbase. What does that mean for you? That means that you can have replication for your Pocketbase instances, which means scalability. It means that you can make queries directly to your Pocketbase data using SQL language, and it will return those things, which is pretty damn cool. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first thing that I want to do is to get into the actual documentation, and let's just take a look and see what we've got. So if I go to pocketbase.io, we should be greeted with that beautiful screen, the little gopher, um, or beaver or whatever it is, and then we're going to go to extend with Go. Now this is where the magic's happening. You've got these custom SQLite drivers. So, what is a driver? A driver is basically the software component that goes and connects to the SQLite database, and Pocketbase is giving us the ability to change that at our wish. There is some things that we're going to have to do. We're going to have to use Pocketbase as an actual framework, which involves essentially getting the Pocketbase packages and compiling them into their own Go file. So let's do that here. So the first thing we want to do is open up a code editor. We're going to type in a main.go file, and in this file, we're going to chuck all of this stuff here. So if we chuck all of that in there, um, that's going to throw up some errors in our linting. But what we're going to do is resolve those errors by going to by closing this one up and then going to up here where it says what the command we need to run is, and we're going to run this go mod init go mod tidy. And for this one, I'm going to call it Pocketbase Turso, and we're going to create our tidy file alongside our Pocketbase. Now, for you, it may take a little bit longer, but that's how we run it. And after that, we're going to see this go.mod file. I don't think it's run the go mod tidy properly, so I'm just going to run it again. And again, I didn't save my Go file. And this will go and download all of the things that we need to download. What it does is it looks at these import statements and then creates a package file. This is similar to if you're using like package.json with a package manager for JavaScript. This is just how you do it in Go. And it's going to have this little thing in front of it, which that you shouldn't be deleting that. I did that the first time, and it didn't work out well. So, anyways, we've got this data.db database here and this token, which we're going to need to fetch off of Turso to begin with. So we're going to go to Turso, and we're going to get started. Now, you can sign up with whatever you want. I'm going to sign up with my GitHub account here, and this should load us up. I'm just looking around. I'm going to skip that. And you'll see we've got some databases here, some overviews here about what we can do. Ideally, we'd want to create a database first. So I think that's what we're going to do here. We're going to create we're going to just call this the default one, and we're going to deploy, I think, to Sydney, because that's where I am. We'll create that there. And we're going to create a database. And again, we're going to put it in Australia. Oh, Australia, come on. And we're going to call this one, We're going to call this one Pocketbase Turso. Very original, I know. And we'll go here, create database. And now that's loaded up a database for us. Now, what we're going to need to do is create a token with read and write access on top of that. And we're going to want to copy the token here as well as this libsql here. So we will add the token in this token bracket there, and we'll add this libsql in here. Turso.io, and that will give us what we need. Now we're going to run back along to this command here and run go serve, which should go through and build our pocket base. And what it's going to do is it's going to build our pocket base locally, but it's also going to build that pocket base SQLite database through Turso. So when you get access to here we go, comes up here. So setting up a quick one. So yeah, classic Pocketbase. This is all the stuff that we would expect. I'm just going to close this real quick as I explain what's going on here. So you can see that we actually have a DB file here. What we're saying is that we're still going to use the DB or some local stuff on here, but where the calls are being directed to from Pocketbase is to Turso. So when you're calling the typical commands that you would use in Pocketbase with a Pocketbase package in JavaScript, for instance, they're actually going straight through to this libsql Turso. So let's jump in and let's create some data. So I'm thinking that what we're going to call this is, I really like this this city named Brest. So it's in France. If you've never been, yeah, it's a beautiful place. So we'll call this the Brest collection, and it's just going to be like pictures of France. So we'll just go image here, and I think we'll maybe add uh, maybe we might want some like maybe a rounded just in case we want the rounded image. So we'll just go like that, and then in here we'll add some photos. Now I've got some ones here, so I'll just add these in. I'll add in breast one. Um, I think we'll make that one rounded, and then we'll go add breast two. We'll leave that one unrounded. We don't want them all rounded. And then I'll put in breast 3 here. And then we'll create that. And I think that's enough data for now. Now, what we're going to want to do is just build a little app to see if we can get all of this data. So like I was saying before about being able to use Pocketbase, these calls which are made locally are going to actually follow through to Turso. So let's see how that works. So I'm closing that real quick. We're going to create an application here. Now, I think the best way to do it is just to go create. Let's just go here. Let me close out of these ones. Let's create one here. We're going to go create. I think we'll use, because I want to be different, I think we're going to use, I think we'll use Tauri. So we'll go to Tauri and we'll run this beautiful command here, which will create our Tauri app. And I'm going to call it app for now. And yes, we're fine with that. TypeScript and Rust, yarn. And I think we'll put Svelte, we'll put TypeScript, and we'll use yarn Tauri dev. Oh, we need to install the package first, and we need to change the directory. So we'll go into app, we'll run yarn, which will download Tauri. Now, if you haven't used Tauri before, strongly recommend you check it out. Very, very cool framework for building web apps on mobile as well as desktop. I think it's going to be the next big thing. It uses Rust as its backend for interacting with various APIs, and yeah, it's just incredibly fast. So we're just doing this to just showcase our Tauri skills as well as our Turso skills. So now that that's done, we can go yarn Tauri dev, and that's going to open up our app, and we can see that it's open here. Now it's going to be downloading some Rust crates in the background, so we don't really care too much about the actual app itself. We just want to make it do cool stuff. So we're going to go into Svelte. I'm going to clear out all of this stuff here. Get rid of this class container. Get rid of all of that. Why is this complaining? Anyways, get rid of all of that. And then we're going to want to install Tailwind. Svelte. Oh. So we'll jump in to our Svelte folder by going to app here while that crate stuff is downloading in the background. Go app, and we'll run npm install as well as npm init, which will create some cool stuff in the background. Those two will already be added onto our Svelte project. We'll add this content onto our Tailwind config, which has just been generated. And we'll go boom. And this enables us to basically use Tailwind. So then we'll want to add under our source an app.css file. Add that in. And then we'll want to import this into our layout here. And then we'll have to rerun our app in order to make this work. So let's run that. And now let's see how this is looking. Should just be, yep, a black window. Now let's punch in some stuff here. We'll just put in a h1, hello world. We'll add in our class. We'll add in red 400 text, red 400. And we'll take a look at how this baby's looking. And it's not running because it's not, so we'll just run Tauri dev again. And we'll run and open this, and yeah, sure enough, we got hello world. So we know all that's working. We'll get rid of all of these styles here. And we'll set up a grid here. We'll call this photos of the town of Brest. Just to be very clear, we don't want any confusion. And then we go class, and we're going to go grid cols 3, and we're going to put p image, and then we'll just take a wee look at that one. That's looking okay. I think we should add some padding onto the main as a whole. So I'll just p20 gap 4. And then we'll also add a little text center here. That should, yeah, that should do it for now. Actually, let's add this text Excel, 3XL, just to make that nice and big. There we go. PB4 for padding. And now we're going to do some of our scripting. So what we want to do is we want to go let breast promise equals async and we want to go to the docs to look at what's the best way to do it in Turso. So if I go to docs here and then to quick start, and then we'll want to go to TypeScript. And now we're going to want to install the libsql client. Now, libsql, for those of you who don't know, is oh, we don't want npm, we want yarn. Do they have yarn? Yeah, they do. So we'll add in yarn. libsql, for those of you who don't know, is a fork of SQLite, and it allows for a bunch of different stuff like higher uptime, lower latency on queries. And it was forked from SQLite because they wanted to, oh, I think it was Turso who forked it. They wanted to not be beholden to the exact specs of the SQLite authors, because the SQLite authors had their own vision for how SQLite should behave, which didn't really include scalability. So that's why there is this libsql fork. And what we're going to do in here is we're going to use the Edge runtime to create a new client in Turso. You can use Node.js because we're in the browser. We're just going to use the Edge runtime. So I'm just going to create this one here. I don't know why that's calling that, but we can worry about that later. And for this URL, again, we're going to go to here and we'll just copy the URL that we've got as well as the auth token in order to actually use this. And we'll plug that into here. And you can see where I'm going with this. We're going to be able to run this command here, select all from breasts. So now we can go const return equals, returns a terrible name, data, and then we will return data. Actually, let's just log it to begin with, console.log data promise, and we'll just make sure that that runs. For that, we need to restart our app. Okay, that's still looking good. Now we're going to clear out this, and we're going to put in some Svelte code. So what you want to do is go to svelte.dev, and then we're going to go to tutorials, and we're going to search for async await blocks. We're just going to copy this one in. So we'll go copy, and we'll paste this in here. Now we're going to need to fetch our promise from somewhere. So we're going to do this. We're going to go let promise equals dollar state, and we'll wrap this to make it stateful. And this should then allow us to get the data returned. So we'll run that return data, and because we're wanting to get items pulled out of the data, we're also going to go to the each block, and the each block shows us how to get different things out of it. In this case, we're going to use this each block in order to get it. We'll just copy that one in here. And we're going to call this one loading. As we await the promise, we're going to load up. And then once we get the breasts, we're going to go each breast as and we can expand this one, and we're just going to get the image and the rounded and the ID from each. For now, we will go like that. And then if we open this up, it won't return anything. But if we bring this up, we get rid of this button here, we just put in a P and then the image, that should work. So let's just see. No, not working, but let's take a look and see if we're getting anything. So we are getting something. Great. It's just not rendering because of my noob experience with Svelte. So each cat's ID. Dot rows. Here we go. And that brings through our images, which is very good. So now I think what we want to do is we're going to want to bring in the actual source. So let's get rid of this and let's go image. And the way that sources work in Pocketbase is a little strange. So if we go to pocketbase.io or Pocketbase files, I think it is. The way that we have to handle files is using this particular format. So we're just going to copy this one here. We're going to paste it in here, and we're going to substitute our file name with the image tag, the record name with the ID, and this one with breasts, which is our collection. So we'll save that, and then we'll refresh and see how things are looking. And we've got lovely breasts here, lovely images of breast. So that is looking good. So we've got 3 calls. Why is our grid not coming through the way that we want? Grid calls 3, gap 4, p loading, p. Let's take another look at this one. Everything's all in the one grid, which is not what we want. So let's get rid of these divs here. Hopefully it still behaves the way we want it to. And it does, so there we go. So you can obviously see the power of this. We're actually pulling out data directly from from Turso. And if we're wanting to, for instance, get different information using SQL queries directly, we can do that. So if I refresh this, It's not logging, but let me add in another log again. So log CLG data. So if we look at this now, this is our results. So we get the columns, we get the column types come through, and we get also the rows. Having this information means that you can build things which synchronize with your types on the browser directly. So you can synchronize your database types directly with JavaScript types or with TypeScript types. It's freaking awesome. And this is all of the information that you get pulled directly out of the database in the rows. So let's try and see if we can do some manipulation here with this SQL query. So we're going to do a where rounded equals true, and we'll just see how that affects things. So if we open this up again, we only get our rounded one. Now let's actually do some magic here by going class, and then we're going to say if rounded is true, then rounded dash full, else nothing. And we'll see what we've got here. And that's a very well-rounded breast, and you can see that. And this is super powerful. Obviously, you're going to need to implement your own caching if you're not wanting to call this database every 24 seconds, but you've got this amazing ability now in Pocketbase with Torso to call SQL directly. And this is something I know a lot of people have been asking because I've been seeing it in the discussion forums, like, oh, Adgani, can you implement this? Can you implement that? This is one I see often asked, but now you don't need to worry about that. You can actually just use Turso directly in order to do this direct execution. Now, for some of you wondering, well, I want to have that. I don't want to have to fire up Go in order to do it this way. I think that's honestly, I think that's a counter to what is trying to be done in Pocketbase. Pocketbase is trying to make a simple experience for every developer. And while I don't understand necessarily Gani's reasoning behind not including this, I think that if you're trying to build a scalable app, Pocketbase allows you to go and break away from that, and that's where Go scripting comes in. But the actual product itself, the Pocketbase in its package form, as you get it in Pocket Host, for instance, that's very much something that you're going to want to um, keep as is. So yeah, I don't even know my thinking about it, to be honest, but um all I know is this is amazing, and I think that there's going to be a lot of utility for scaling. I mean, like, just checking out some of the stuff that's in Torso real quick. Like if I go to here, like as we refresh, we can see that all of the rights. We can see how the database is being interacted with. We can see the top queries. This gives us a huge amount of visibility. It's not core to Pocketbase, but it's uh, for someone who's trying to scale, this is a huge amount of visibility that you wouldn't otherwise get. And I think that if you're wanting to set up regions and other things like that, this is going to give you a huge amount of utility. The other thing that I didn't really cover is that now that you've got access to Turso, you can start using Turso's features. Like if you want to set up an ORM like Drizzle or Prisma with Pocketbase, all of this is now possible as part of Pocketbase 23. So if you guys are interested in that, I strongly recommend that you build this and have a play around with it. It's really simple to set up, and honestly, yeah, I'm really excited to see how people scale and build with Pocketbase following this, because now there's a path to actually build. I don't think it's going to be horizontal scaling, but it certainly allows us to build high replication and high redundancy clusters for SQLite, which we didn't have access to before. So yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know if you're going to try out Turso, and show me some projects that you're building. If you've liked this video, I recommend you subscribe to my newsletter. That's where I'm doing my best work. I help developers out by giving them a tool each week, a tutorial each week, and the most important piece of news that they missed in the week. So if you find that valuable, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.